Hey guys, this is Genesis, the original support. Today's jungle video is with Kha'Zix-post. So, a couple things to know about Kha'Zix. Number one, he's really freaking squishy. Number two, he has a really high damage output. Now, Kha'Zix was huge last year in Season 4. And then the developers decided to really nerf him. I mean, a lot. Which is unfortunate, because it's resulted in taking a champion out of the pool of a lot of junglers who should still be viable. And he's not really viable unless you've got a pretty good sense of the champion and a good sense of where he fits into the game overall. I'm going to go ahead and take a longsword here. I probably should have taken some pots, but I mean, I need to get back out there. At this point I should be doing my third camp, but without a leash from like the bottom lane, I can't really do that, which is highly annoying. I'm actually going to smite the raptor camp. I'm going to put another point into my queue. And I know that there's no other champions in the brush, but I'm still going to use that. Raptor camp buff to check these river bushes for wards. There's no wards, so now onto the scuttle crab. Now it's unfortunate I'm not going to get my bonus cash from this. Okay, not much anyways. But the important thing for me here is to control vision in the river. And since I'm able to do that, now I'm going to move on to the wolves. Since there's nothing for me to gank in the mid lane. Of course. Now, there's a bit of a debate from a lot of people about, okay, shouldn't you kill the small ones first so you can do more damage to the big ones since they're isolated? My answer to that is the big monsters in any jungle camp do tons of damage. You kill them first, you should be able to take down the smaller ones without much of a hassle. They're running low on mana, also running low on health. But a successful camp clear, and I'm going to go back. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. I'm going to go and take this other scuttle crab river here. By the way, some people seem to forget that E does damage when you leap. Now, the range has been nerfed a little bit. So, I guess, like, if you really want to make your ganks more useful, you want to upgrade, you want to evolve your W for the extra slow it provides, and then you'll also want to evolve your leap. You're fine without evolving your Q, Taste Their Fear. Yeah, the damage is increased if the target is isolated, but the big thing for me with evolving my W and my E is it gives me a lot more utility in ganks. Yeah, and I've got an extra slow with my W, and my E is a gap closer, so yeah, I mean, I can max my Q. I can put the most points into Q first. But as far as hitting level 6 and choosing which skill to evolve, dear me, that did not work. Okay. And we'll just beat up the scuttle crab. So yeah, that's a pretty good reason to evolve your E first. Give you some extra range and extra escape. Now you guys are noticing that I'm here in the enemy's jungle. And at level 5, this is actually where you would want the wave to be, and probably about right there is where you would want the enemy bottom lane duo to be. I'm going to come in for a gank, and then I'd use my W for the slow. Okay. So I'm going to evolve my E first. And because I've done that, I'm now able to gank a little more effectively. Mostly because I've got extra range for my leap, so opponents don't have to be quite so far up in the lane, and they can be further away from the bush where I'm hiding, you know, whatever. And I can still get to them. With that evolved leap. Now most of the time at level 6 or at level 5 or 4, if you're trying to take the dragon, you really do want help because he has no armor aside from what he builds with items. That's the other reason to evolve your E. You can hop out of the pit like that a little sooner. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Warrior Enchantment. You could probably build a Cinderhulk enchantment for the Stalker's Blade. It's kind of up to you as to what you want to do with Kha'Zix. If you want to build him as more of a tanky jungler that is there to help take objectives and also be able to survive ganks. For me, it's a little bit of extra damage. And if I need tank items, I'll build Black Cleaver. And maybe a couple of other items. Probably Thornmail if it's an AD heavy team. Spirit Visage to help with healing stuff and give me a little bit of magic resist as well. Kha'Zix also does pretty well holding lanes for laners that have gone back. Well, that failed. Okay, that wave will now push itself. Not too much, but it will push itself. I'm gonna put point into void spikes. Okay, and now I'm gonna go back. 770 gold is not a lot of cash to spend. But it's enough to get me started on an item path. I think just for this one, I'll probably go with the chain vest. I mean, let's say it's like a Riven top and a Zed mid. No escape. The jungler. I mean, the big one these days is Vi. So a little bit of armor would definitely help me survive in some of the ganks and counter ganks. And because Riven deals so much damage, and because so many of her abilities and their effectiveness are based on how much attack damage she has, building some armor on Kha'Zix is definitely a good idea.
My wings are restless.
Alright, I think that's good enough. I'm going to stop it here and talk a little bit about Kha'Zix. So basically, Kha'Zix is a very gank-oriented jungler. In last season, he was a carry-oriented jungler, which meant that you really wanted to get kills using Kha'Zix and snowball that into the mid and late game and build a tremendous gold lead for your team and pick up the win. I've decided to focus on Kha'Zix's utility. An evolved E gives him extra range on his leap, which will allow you to do a much harder engage than you would normally, and evolving your void spikes with your level 11 ult. That's going to give Kha'Zix a slow. If you're feeling pretty confident that you can get in using your ult, evolving your W first would probably be the best thing to do. Kha'Zix will fit into a lot of team compositions, but he doesn't work very well with team comps that are more siege oriented. Other than the W, he's got no real ranged poke. In the early levels, he's very, very squishy. And it's actually pretty easy to counter jungle him once you can get into his jungle. And even though he can outduel some junglers, thanks to Taste Their Fear, his passive, Taste Their Fear is his Q. His passive, and also the fact that targets can get isolated in their own jungle. You can outduel them when those conditions have been met. It's still a dicey proposition to take Kha'Zix. You gotta be very, very confident with him. You gotta put some time into learning how to play him. And you have to pick your ganking opportunities very, very carefully. Having said all of those things, Kha'Zix is still a good jungler. He's not seeing a lot of time in the LCS or any of the competitive leagues around the world. If you can master him and put him in a position to succeed, you will have success with this guy. Like and subscribe. Leave your comments, suggestions, and requests as always. This is Genesis, the original support. Best of luck in your next match, and have a great day.